everyone! So today we're going to be looking at the artist Salvador Dali, and he was a surrealist artist. We've looked at some other surrealists before in our arts program, but he is one of the most famous ones, and you've probably seen some of his artworks with things like melting clocks and big elephants with long legs, things that are very bizarre and interesting. So surrealism is an art form where things don't have to be realistic. Reality, the things that we live with every day, a little bit boring and dull sometimes. So the cool thing about surrealism is it uses imagination and it creates lots of dreamlike images with things that are more fantastic. So the more bizarre your artwork is, the better. So we're going to be looking at using some objects from around the house, some normal kind of things, some boring kind of objects, things out of your kitchen. So have a rummage around in your kitchen and see if you've got some normal kind of objects, and we are going to make surreal art out of boring kitchen utensils. So with our surrealist drawings, we are going to make things a little bit wonky and a little bit bizarre shape. So we can see this is a spatula. We've probably all got one of these in our kitchen, and we're going to try and draw this, but we can make it all wonky and all crazy looking. So that's our spatula there, and we're going to have a go at drawing it, but we're not going to try and make it look too realistic. It can be very wonky. So I'm going to give it a really wobbly handle, very curvy shape, and then I'm going to make it look really skinny down this end and wonky spatula. So you can see my one does look a little bit crazy. It's lots of curvy lines instead of it being very straight line, which you can see here. And we're going to do the same for those lines in the middle of the spatula there, the holes. We're going to make those nice and wobbly as well. Next up, we're going to try the whisk. So whatever you are going to have a go at drawing, just think about making those shapes look very curvy, melted, bizarre, wonky. A whisk is great. It's already got lots of crazy lines for the wires, so you really can have lots of fun with lots of curvy, wiggly, squiggly lines in there. Make it look interesting. So whatever kitchen utensils that you are having a go drawing, have a rummage in your cupboards and see what you can find. Find things with interesting shapes, with interesting holes, and then have fun making them wonky and surreal and bizarre looking. So really have fun making those cool shapes. So once you've finished your drawings, you can get out your pastels, your paints, your pencils, whatever you're going to colour with, and you can colour these in the most brilliant, bright, crazy colours that you can imagine to really add to that surrealist look. So you can see that my utensils are very brightly coloured. I'm using as many colours as I can and making them look really fun.
So once all your utensils are painted and dry, get out your scissors and cut them out, or ask somebody to cut those out for you.
So in your kitchen you may have tiles on your floor or wooden boards, or you might have lino. So a design that you often see in Dali's artworks is this tile pattern, which is often very common in a kitchen floor, the black and white checkerboard tile. So we're going to use that kind of tile for our kitchen backdrop. And instead of it being nice gridded lines like a normal grid would be if you did have tiles in your kitchen, we're going to make it surreal. So we're going to make it very wobbly and wonky tiles. So you can draw your horizontal lines. They can be wonky, some of them can be close together, far apart. So do this. We're going to need about 2 pages of this gridded pattern, and then we do a vertical line, again wiggly wiggly. Sometimes they're fat, sometimes they're skinny. And we're going to paint this in black and white. So every second square is going to be black and the alternate square is going to be white. So we're just going to alternate between black and white here. So surrealism is about creating dreamscapes or things that are not quite how they would appear in reality, which is why we're choosing really different colours, why we are warping shapes, and why things are wonky, curvy and bizarre looking. Because often when we have images and objects in our dreams, they are a little bit warped and a little bit bizarre, and this is sort of where the surrealist ideas come from. So now that you have created all of your surreal kitchen implements and you've painted them all sorts of crazy bright colours, we've got beautiful bright frying pans, we've got wonky spatulas, we've got all sorts of bizarre and wobbly looking surreal kitchen things, and you have created your backdrop as well. This is your tile backdrop and also wonky, wobbly, crazy looking shapes on there too. We are going to start to put this together into a little scene that we're going to photograph. So you could use a piece of cardboard, or you may have a cardboard box that you can use for this. So we want to create a shape that we can stick all of our pieces onto. So you are going to need some cardboard for this, or a cardboard box is also probably a good idea. So I've just got a piece of cardboard, that's what I'm going to work with. First off, we just need to get our background organised. Now we've got our pieces here, which are going to become that background for us. So we're going to be sticking those on. So I'm just going to use a bit of glue stick for that. Use sellotape, PVA, our cool background. So we're just going to fold that. If you had a box, you just stick it inside the box, but because we don't have a box, we'll be doing it this way. That. So that's our scene there, and we're going to want to add our implements on here, or our utensils, onto this in an interesting way. So we can make them look like trees, we can have them melting down from the background, so we can glue and stick these on in interesting ways onto our page, so they don't have to just be straight, they can be wonky. They can fold, they can be melted, all sorts of different ways. But we may want to strengthen these up and just put a little bit of cardboard on the back so that we've got a bit more flexibility with what we can do. So they're just very, very floppy at the moment, which is good because you might want it all floppy, but also you may want some that you can bend a little bit and kind of create your own shapes and things with. So it just depends on what you want to do. I would put a little bit of cardboard strip down the back of these so we can do a little bit more with them. So once we've got all of those bits of cardboard stuck on the back there, we can start to think about how we want to arrange all of our pieces, and they are going to stand up a little bit easier now they've got some cardboard stuck in behind them. So I kind of like the idea of having these like little trees poking up. So I'm going to tape some of my ones facing straight up, poking straight up. We're just going to start taping and draping our pieces on. And that cardboard, the cardboard that we put on there is also really going to help when we come to stick things down. They're not going to fall over quite so easily. This one can be like a bridge. What do you think about that? That's quite cool, isn't it? Melting down from the top here. Now this one I didn't put any cardboard on, so it can be a little bit more flexible. Got the whisk, it can be flying through the background there. So you can see we have taken everyday, dull and dreary kitchen things, and we have created for ourselves something that is very bizarre, very interesting, and not quite what you'd ever see in reality in your kitchen, is it? So once you've created your scene, it's a matter of getting your camera or your cell phone and trying to take some really cool, interesting shots. So you can get some close-up ones, move your camera around, different angles, and different ways that you can take that photograph. So I'm going to take a few shots myself. So we can zoom in on certain areas for our photo. You don't have to have everything in the photo all at the same time. So we can just get a piece of that and think, oh, that's a really interesting angle. You might want to move things around, change the angle of the camera. You can get in really close as well. So here we have our finished piece. Look how interesting it is. You can take photographs from different angles. Think about taking photographs from the top down, front, side, getting in nice and close. You've created this really interesting surreal kitchen, and I hope you get some really interesting photographs out of it, and I would love to see them. So please send them through. I'd love to see how your surrealist kitchen art turned out. Well, I hope you've had fun and I will see you next time. Bye!